Herr Präsident, meine Damen und Herren.
Thank you, President. Ladies and gentlemen, first and foremost, allow me to thank both rapporteurs, Sir Roger Gale and Mr. Tini Cox. Thank you to both of them. It seems to me that this report and this resolution really highlight the salient points of this issue. I think they're mentioned, and they're mentioned very appositely, if I may say so, and it seems to me that the crucial aspects concerning reform, the reform steps that have to be taken at the political level, the whole question of the rule of law, I think that all of that is really brought forward in this report, and thank you for that. I would tend to agree with Mr. Schenach. My impression, and I have to confess, I'm not an expert when it comes to Bosnia, but I have been there, and my impression is that this sort of forced ethnicization with the Dayton Accord is a bit of a problem, and it needs to be overcome somehow. I too have spoken to people from Bosnia, and they really did flag this particular issue. The whole question of political participation, once again, everything seems to be divided according to ethnic dividing lines, and that is an issue. Now, once again, I'm not an expert. I do preface any statement with that caveat. But I have to say that over the course of the last few years, I've been able to look at the situation thanks to my presence here in the Council of Europe. I've been in situ. I've also been to see people in Serbia, Montenegro, Macedonia, and so on and so forth. And it seems to me that there is a basic issue that needs to be expressed in this debate. And if I may, I'd like to share it with you. These reports are a very good piece of constructive work. We are recommending and demanding, in fact, reforms for greater democracy, greater rule of law. We're doing all of that. Simultaneously, it would appear that in these countries, and to some extent it does apply to all of these countries, distinctly but also together, what about social aspects? What about economic aspects? People are faced with problems in those domains, and how do we address that? I mean, if people don't have jobs, if people don't have any kind of a social future, if you like, then it's precisely the kind of phenomenon that Mr. Schenach was talking about earlier on. Youth will leave these countries. They'll leave because there is no future in these countries for them. And that is why we need to have these reforms. That is why they need to be rolled out. So I think it's important for us to remember that, of course, as rapporteurs for these countries, we can't solve these problems. I understand that. But nevertheless, I think it's important to highlight that there are economic, financial issues at stake here. There's the whole EU process, the pre-accession phase. All of that needs to be addressed properly. But there's no investments, unfortunately, no investments being made into these countries. I mean, there are big programs for reconstruction. We need that for the whole of the Balkans. We need it also for Greece, if you like. We need a kind of new Marshall Plan. I can refer to it, I can pay lip service to it, but all of these problems, as I see it, will contribute to a situation where our work here, unfortunately, comes up against obstacles time and time again. It's not an excuse. It's not an excuse for the countries concerned. They should implement what is set out here, certainly, but I nevertheless would argue that there are fundamental problems, systemic problems that we need to address and continue to talk about.